My childhood and upbringing was very unique. My mother, Tracy Brown, was a very influential part of my life. She was a single mother, and she put me in a village that made me into the man I am today. My mother was a teacher, and she taught within the Baldwin County Public School System for over 20 years at Foley High School and at Daphne High School. And I think she passed down to me the traits of putting others first, giving, and loving others as you would love yourself. So just being the lady that she was, oftentimes being a mother and a father to me was very influential in my life, and I owe my life to my mother, and she made me the man that I am today. I chose to apply to West Point mainly to secure a future for my future. When I first had the opportunity of thinking about going to West Point, I was a high school junior when I was playing football, and that's how West Point came across my radar, was through a football offer. I played football at Daphne High School under the coach Kenny King, and Coach King kind of put it in my ear of who the person that I was. He thought of me as a leader, someone who cared about others but also wanted to be successful himself. And he said, I think West Point would be a good fit for you. I went and I took an official visit, and I realized that it gave me the opportunity to be successful not on the field, but off the field, and as a man. And that's something that I always valued, was when football was over, what could I hang my hat on? What could I tell people this is what I did within my lifetime? And West Point gave me that opportunity to not only develop myself, but to develop others as a leader. And I thought that was a great opportunity, and so I took it. The main concern or doubt I had was that I would be by myself, or that I wouldn't be good enough to go to West Point and survive. I come from a household that is very challenging, that is she pushes me to be the best person that I am. So if I brought home a B on the report card, it was like, why do you have a B? And West Point, you're around elite individuals, and it's an elite place itself. So I always wondered, would I be elite enough to survive? Or would I be among the people who fell to the wayside or who didn't make it through West Point? So that was my biggest doubt. And then, of course, being a black man at a predominantly white institution, you look at, do you have that community of not losing yourself, of not becoming someone that you don't want to be, but becoming someone who people who look like you can look at and say, hey, I can do that as well. So I did have that doubt at first. But as I got through my time at West Point, the community that surrounded me, even though it wasn't a lot of African-American males or individuals, we found a way to be tight-knit and stay together and push each other through the challenges that West Point has to offer. So I'm grateful for being the minority of the minority and completing my time as a cadet. My experience was challenging. Freshman year, or plebe year as they call it, so that's the first year that you're at the academy. After you go through a basic training, which is just like an Army basic training, you do different things, rifle qualification, land navigation. So my freshman year, I had to go through a swim class, and I had never swam in over 6 feet water, so that was a shock. Academically, I struggled because being a football player and being a cadet, I wasn't ready for that, and I should have took the opportunity of going to prep school or the preparatory academy, which prepares you more for being a cadet. And so I started to use my resources. I had to go to a lot of extra help within the school to make sure that I was, doing the things that I needed to academically and militarily, because, I didn't come from a military background. And that was one thing that was also a shock to me, was the demands of being academically successful and militarily successful, and also trying to be successful on the football field. So that was my biggest challenge, and balancing everything was definitely something that I look back and it's made me a better man. It's taught me how to do different things and manage my time well. So I'm thankful for that, but I would say that was the biggest challenge, was just understanding how to balance everything and do what I needed to do on time. Some of the challenges I faced racially, I wouldn't say that there were times where you were discriminated upon directly, but you would see different things. Like sometimes I might have been the only black cadet within my class, In the class of 15, I might have been the only black male, or within my company, I might have been the only black male within my class that I could room with another black male. Well, luckily, I thank God that I did have a black male within my company that I did room with. But I wouldn't say the challenge was always just finding a way to constantly put yourself around like-minded individuals who were African American. And football allowed me to do that. A lot of football players were African American. But branching out and seeing other people within the school. So like the African American community, we did different things such as, everybody just link up and just have fun on the apron, or we'll go play spades or do something like that to keep ourselves around one another. But I would say that was the biggest challenge, was just not feeling alone, especially academically and militarily. But I thank God that we were able to come together and like I said, help see each other through the challenges that we faced at West Point as cadets. The military culture at West Point, I would say it aligned with my beliefs because of the structure that it provided me. So when I was making my college decision, I told my mother that I didn't want to go someplace where I felt like I would have too much freedom, because I did want to have the opportunity to see what I started through. And West Point allowed me to do that, especially with the background that Tracy Brown instilled in me, which was one of, what you do within the house, you do within the house. It's a time and place for everything. And West Point keeps you along the same lines. Certain things that you can do, you have certain freedoms, but you can't let that affect what you're doing as a cadet or what you're doing as a future officer. And so I would say the values of structure, of discipline, of respect, of honesty, of integrity, the things that my mother instilled in me and that the village that she placed me in instilled in me, West Point allowed me to carry those on, especially the instructors and the people that were a part of my West Point village, and I'm thankful for that. What it meant to me as a black male to wear that uniform was to remember the people that came before me. So being a part of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, we learned about Brigadier General Charles Young, who was one of the first black graduates of West Point. And the things that he's done within his lifetime, his military career, how influential he was, being as diplomatic as he was. And you look at different people like Brigadier General Landis Maddox, who's currently a general in the U.S. Army right now, who's also a graduate of West Point. I look at Colonel Archie Bates, who was an instructor at West Point and still is. The things that they do, just being that figurehead of being a black male specifically, to graduate from West Point and to go into the Army and do great things, to me that was a sign of respect, that I was able to wear the uniform of those individuals and of other black individuals who have graduated from West Point. So just to have that honor to be the person to walk in their footsteps and then to blaze my own trail as a black graduate from Baldwin County and being one of the first black graduates from Daphne High School to graduate West Point is a very esteemed honor and one that I'm thankful for. The impact that I'm hoping that I have on future black cadets and students of color is just being a figurehead of the person that if I did it, then you can too. I went, and it's funny, when I come back home, I try to go see different schools, and schools that I grew up in specifically, and try to be that person that I wasn't the best kid in college or in school growing up. I was very rambunctious. I looked for attention in certain places, and I got in a lot of trouble coming up through school, and my teachers will say that as well. And so to go back and see those teachers and tell them, this is what I did with my life, and I know that you have students that you might see who were like me, that a lot of people wrote off early, and a lot of people didn't have a certain confidence in that they would make it. I had a 7th grade teacher who told me if I kept going on the route that I was going to end up in jail. And I know that it's teachers and it's people out there and it's cadets and students who will go through that same thing. And I want them to realize that if I'm the person from a little town in Baldwin County, Alabama, and I was able to graduate from a very prestigious academy such as West Point, then you can too. There's nothing that you can't do. And if you need someone to look at and be like, well, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if somebody like me has done that. Somebody like you has. And he's grateful for the opportunity to be able to pour back into you and tell you that you can. I was blessed to be very smart. My mother was an educator, as I said, and so I think I got a lot of her genes in terms of intelligence and just understanding, different concepts in school. But I did have a problem with what to do with my free time when I was done, and that was a problem that I saw all the way through 7th and 8th grade. And it wasn't until a principal, Miss Tiffany Irby, she goes by Miss Calicetti now, she's newly married, but she told me, I will not let you be the child that goes to the wayside. I believe in you, and I wish more teachers would have told me that earlier. But when she did, my mom always told me that if you have someone who believes in you, the last thing that you want to do is disappoint them. And when Miss Irby told me that, I knew that I wanted to change my life around and do different things and be positive. And so from there on, I tried to make sure that I was being as positive as I could. I was able to hit a growth spurt, so I started being more of a figurehead within my school and my community on just what to do. I thank God that I've never drank or smoked or put myself in a position to where my mother had to either come get me from the jailhouse or come see me and be able to put me in the grave. So just having those people in your life that tell you that you can do things, that's the type of person that I want to be. And no matter who tells you that you are not anybody, you are somebody. And that's what I want the future generation to understand, is no matter what situation that you're in now, you have a possibility, you have the opportunity to change that. And the possibilities that what you can do with your life are endless. So. The most formative experiences, I would say, were struggling academically. I think that helped me, I've never been one to truly ask for help, but it's okay to in situations. Someone is always better than you at something, no matter what it is. Somebody has done things in their lifetime that can help you do things in your lifetime. So that was one thing that I would say shaped me in learning how to develop myself and others around me, was maximizing strengths and turning your weaknesses into strengths. Another thing that I would say was the field training exercises. You had to push yourself, especially being a football player. We did a lot of our field trainings during the summer. So learning different things about, what you can really push your body through and what you can do if you just put your mind to it. I would say that helped shape the man that I've become today. And then just talking to different people and seeing the backgrounds that everyone comes from at West Point. You have a wide variety of people. You have people who are 3rd or 4th generation West Pointers. You have people who are 1st generation college students. And just being able to be in that diverse setting and learn how to navigate different settings and talking to different people and talking to officers who have served in places that we may never get the opportunity to serve in. Just seeing different things like that and taking a little bit from everyone and forming yourself and forming your leadership style. I say that's what's formed me into being the future officer that I am today. So I actually had a couple of African-American role models, so I'll talk about all 4 of them actually. Okay. So one of my main role models that I had at West Point was a cadet. He's now an officer, Cadet Marquell Broughton. So Marquell was one who has a very different story. His father was killed when he was younger, and he grew up in a single-parent household, but he grew up with siblings, and he was the oldest son. And just to see the person that he was, how captivative he was. He put his all into everything he did. He was a 2-year football captain. And he also was a brigade commander. And to see the time and the effort that he put into being the best person that he was, because he was one freshman and sophomore year where he felt that he wasn't the best version of himself. And for him to be the person that he is now, and to be the graduate and the cadet that he was, that was something that I needed to see. And he was one of the people that at first was, if he could do it, I could do it. So the officer side, I had different officers. So one of them was Chief Warrant Officer Anton Alsop. So he was from Brooklyn, and he grew up in New York City, and he was in the Army as well. And he went to the Army, and he was one who he said, if you would have asked me when I was 15 years old, would I still be alive? I would have told you no. And the fact that he's doing what he's doing, he was always influential in terms of just letting us fellowship at his home. He was one to give us tips and reminders on how to be a better person in general, and how to survive as being black in the Army, and realizing that you had to be the best of the best, and he wanted us to be exceptional. And so he pushed us to being exceptional. I had Major Sean Robertson, who was always excellent. He wasn't a West Point grad, but if you just walked up to him in the street, you would think he was because of how he carried himself. And the things that he's done in the Army, and the people that he's influenced just by being who he is, and especially with us, giving us a different perspective on how to be a leader and really shaping your leadership style and your characteristics, and how to carry yourself as a black man to be successful and to get in rooms, to change rooms. That was something that he doesn't know it, but I'll always take with me. And I would say the biggest person, and I met him when I went on my first visit to West Point, was Colonel Archie Bates. So Colonel Bates is actually from Alabama. He grew up upstate. And when I first went to West Point for my official visit for football, he was the speaker at a dinner for us. And at the time, he was working under Michelle and Barack Obama. So to see the things that he's done from being from Alabama, being a colonel within the Army, and reaching different heights and providing for his family as I wish to provide for mine, and seeing how the other people that I've mentioned, being black males, have done the same for their families and changed trajectories. That was something that I wish to do, and that's something that I feel like I'm on the way to do. So I'm very thankful that God put those individuals in my life. The message that I wish to share to young black men who might watch this: take time to pour into others if others are poured into you. The people that you think are being annoying or are constantly on you is because they love you and they want something for you. And it took me time to realize that. Be thankful for the village that you have been placed in. Well, no matter the situation, if somebody takes time to put into you, they're doing it for a reason. And trust God and trust yourself, and never tell yourself that you can't do anything. Even when somebody tells you you can't, you can, because I did, and I know that you can too. Also, when you pour back into other people, don't forget your story. Don't forget what made you who you are, because that's something that you will always carry with you. God didn't make you better, he just made you different. God didn't make the person next to you better, he just made them different. And our differences are what make us unique. So live in your uniqueness, live in your difference, and become the difference that you wish to be. And if you don't wish to be that, do whatever you think makes you successful. My route might not be the best route for you, but take time to think about what the best route for you is, and what you want to be, and the type of person that you want to come back and say, hey, this is what I did with my life, this is what you can do. And I hope that if you watch this, you find a little sense of hope. Regardless of where you are at right now in life, there's always hope for the future, and you have the opportunity to change it and to be someone else's hope. So I hope that you do the same. As a black cadet, I think my graduation represents perseverance. You go through different things in your life, especially the things that I went through, and you realize no matter what, you persevered, you did it. You saw it through, and I think just being in different situations and the situations that you will face, if you always remember that you can see it through and that you can persevere, then you will be a representation of that. And my mom always told me, you know, you're a product of perseverance. So I think my graduation just represents perseverance in general. So how does it feel to be an officer, especially from graduating from West Point? It feels like an honor, but it feels like a great sense of responsibility. And that's something that I know and that I was willing to accept. I get the opportunity to lead different individuals from different walks of life. And that's something that I feel like is a great sense of esteem. It gives me a great sense of esteem, but also keeps me humble, and knowing that, you know, people will look up to you and you get to learn from different people. You get to share experiences with different individuals that might not look like you. which is one of the biggest blessings that I think God has given me so far in my lifetime. Just being able to be that person where I might have an 18-year-old African-American male in my platoon or in the unit that I lead, and being able to look at me and say, hey, I got someone who looks like me in a leadership position that's directly related to me. I think that's a blessing. And so with great respect and responsibility do I take the role of being an officer in the United States Army, but with great excitement that I'm filled with, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. The leadership lessons that I think will serve me best, that I've learned at West Point, would be if you're willing to work and put time into something, then the benefits will come to fruition. You might not see them immediately, but someone sees you. And a saying that I picked up along the way was, you always see work go unnoticed, but you never see work go unpaid. And so when you put in work and you want to better yourself, someone might not notice it, but in some way you will seek the payment. The payment will come to you, whether that's you developing as a person, you receiving promotions, or you just doing different things within the area that you're in or the situation that you're in that betters yourself. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is no matter what, keep working, keep your head down, keep grinding, and you'll be on the path that you want to go. My immediate goals, first is to graduate Bullock, which is like a C school. So it's basically certifying me within my branch, which is logistics. I have that coming up on March 8th, and my graduation is set for June 27th. So that's my first immediate goal. And then therefore, after that, I'll be stationed in Savannah, Georgia with the 3rd ID CAB, which is a Combat Aviation Brigade, and just being the best best second lieutenant I could be, influencing others to be better than themselves, and to better themselves at the best of their ability, and just be a leader that I wish I had. I think that's my leadership philosophy is, be the leader that you wish you had, and when you're that, everything will come to fruition as you want it to. So I would say that's my goal right now. I try not to put a box on telling myself I have to do this or I have to do that. I really just want to walk in the path that God puts in front of me, and go from there and do the things that I know that I can do, that have been instilled in me, and just try to put my best foot forward. The legacy that I want to leave, I'll start with the military, is that leadership is not a box. You have to find your own leadership style. You have to find who you are as a person before you can lead others. So maximizing potential, maximizing the potential of yourself and of others around you, and using different things that you learn along the way. That's the legacy that I want to leave is how can I maximize who I am while maximizing others? Because I think a team is a machine of moving parts, and when those parts are interchangeable, and everyone is at their best functioning ability, that's when you see the team become the best team that it could be. So how can I develop teams to be the best teams that they can be, therefore making the best individuals that they could be, the best people that you could be. The legacy that I want to leave for young Black African American individuals anywhere is that you don't have to play sports. You don't have to even go to school. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. But whatever you want to do, maximize the person that you are within that realm. Be successful, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't be successful, because I, so far, am blessed to be successful. Listen to the people that come before you, and therefore when you come before people, you can say, since I've listened to the people that come before me, now I'm in this position, and I hope you listen to me. Legacy is another thing that I don't think people really understand, has no definition. It's the definition that is defined by the person that leaves it. And so I just hope my legacy is one to where it encourages others to lead their own. The advice that I would give to someone who looks like me, if they want to go to West Point, would be people have looked like you before and had those same thoughts, those same discouraging thoughts, those same doubts, and they did it. So there's no reason that you can't. The road has already been laid for you. People will look out for you. People will make sure that you stay on the right track, but you have to be willing to humble yourself. You have to be willing to realize that you might not always be the best in the room, but how can you continuously work to be the best in the room? How can you continuously work to develop yourself, not only as a cadet or as a future officer, but as a man? Because that's what I think the community needs is strong black men of character. And that's what I hope to be, and that's what I know the future generations will be if they continue to walk in the footsteps of the ones who have came before them just as I have. So that's the advice that I would give. The thoughts that I have about becoming almost Black history itself is just thoughts of gratefulness, thoughts of respect, thoughts of honor, just being able to be in the position I'm in, giving all the praise and honor to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because I know without him I would be nothing. Realizing that my mother is a part of Black history because she made me. My village is now a part of Black history because she allowed them to make me into the man that I am today as well. So like I said, paying homage to the people who have come before me. I'm a walking reflection of the people that have taken time to pour into me, and I hope that others see the time that I'm trying to pour into others and they become their own version of Black history themselves. If I could talk to my younger self, I would tell him that you can do it. Whatever that's holding you back, let it go. It's not yours, it's the Lord. I would also tell him be thankful for the bumps in the road that are about to happen because they're gonna make you the man that you will be in the future. And the last thing I'll tell him is don't give up on yourself because people didn't give up on you. So love yourself and that'll teach you to love others. What it means to me to be a part of this documentary is, first off, I just can't believe that I'm being the one to be asked to be a part of stuff like this. Just to field questions from great individuals who see something in me. To be a part of a legacy that's bigger than myself. I think that's the goal of just being the son of Tracy Brown, is seeing how she was a part of so many things that were bigger than herself. Being a part of something that's bigger than myself now and being the person that people can look at and say, hey, that's someone that came from a situation like I did. To me, that's priceless. That's something that you can't even put emotions on or put anything on that can really describe it. So I'm really speechless. I'm thankful. I'm blessed, and I'm forever grateful to be a part of something like this. And that I hope if it doesn't influence everyone, it influences one person.